Welcome, queens and goddesses, to another episode of Get It Girl. On today's Girl Talk, we're going to discuss labor and post-labor care.
And for that, we are joined with a very special guest. She is an experienced birth and postpartum doula and the founder of BelliBind.
Yes, and on the couch today, we have entrepreneur, influencer, and soon-to-be mommy, Laura Gimbert.
So don't go anywhere because Get It Girl is about to start.
Motherhood is one of the most exciting chapters for a lot of women, but it can also be a very stressful one. From pregnancy to sending your kids to college, motherhood is quite a ride. And we're joined by a very experienced doula who can help us navigate those first waters, pregnancy, and postpartum. Please welcome Princess McKinney.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
First of all, I've never heard that word doula, probably because I don't have babies.
Yeah.
But what does a doula do?
So birth and postpartum doulas really focus on the woman, and depending on if she's laboring, then we really focus on being an advocate and giving her a mecca of information to make the choices that best suit her birthing needs. And then postpartum, we really help to get you acclimated to the new family life, the new roles, and encourage you to do self-care practices that nourish you as the mother so you can nourish the baby.
What made you get into becoming a doula?
Well, I really felt the calling 7 years ago, but all my life I was like a nanny and stuff like that, so it was really an easy transition once I discovered the role of a doula. And yeah, I just felt called to it. Moms really need support. I was working with Ricky Lake at the time, being a hairstylist.
Oh, wow.
And so she introduced me through her documentary to that world, and I did a whole career shift after that.
Wow,
and
it's like your eyes were open.
Yeah, I just knew, okay, moms need this care. And then even more so, I shifted from being on call for births to really focusing on postpartum because I saw that, especially at the time, 7 years ago, moms were not getting that support they deserve in the early postpartum.
Do you work with BelliBind? Do you work, I know there's a difference between when someone's pregnant and then postpartum, so what's the difference for you in terms of working with your clients, I guess?
And I think you hit it right on the nose. When you think pregnancy, you think, okay, childbirth and caring for a baby. And for me as a postpartum doula and just creating BelliBind, it was about putting that emphasis back on postpartum care, because childbirth can last anywhere from 6 hours to 40 hours, and then it's done. Then you're forever postpartum. And so postpartum lasts much longer than childbirth, and the education for it just isn't there as much. So what I do and come in, I really help with preparing the mom for caring for herself. And what does that look like? Because there's so many unknowns, even with educating yourself on postpartum care. You don't know how you're going to birth, whether it's vaginally, if you're going to tear. You don't know if you're going to be able to breastfeed successfully or not. You don't know if it's going to be a surgical birth or not. So there's so many unknowns.
Wow.
But one thing our clients know for sure when they book with us, with BelliBind, they know they're going to get consistent care every other day for 1 hour at least. They're going to get some rest. They're going to receive loving touch. They're going to get their womb bound and supported, custom fitted garment to their body. So it's night and day in comparison of what our grandmothers or even our mothers received postpartum.
Definitely.
And do you see that women that actually really focus on healthy pregnancies, there being a less chance of postpartum depression?
Not necessarily.
Or is it that can happen to just anybody?
No, that can happen to anyone. And I think it's a lot of those unknowns, and when they aren't prepared for their care after, they think, oh, it might just flow, or maybe they have one or two things lined up, like a meal train where family and friends can bring them food, and maybe their in-laws or mother is going to come take care of them and the baby. But it still requires so much more. There is a wonderful book called The Fourth Trimester by Kimberly Ann Johnson, and really is the foundation of our service, because she says in her book there's 5 universal postpartum needs that every woman across cultures needs and receives usually. And so with our BelliBind service, we make sure moms are receiving that rest, which is one, and nourishment with our warming oils and teas that we provide the mom. We also make sure she's receiving loving touch, which helps the parasympathetic nervous system feel nourished and just relieves that stress. We're helping because we're connecting with her with talk therapy, so that wise woman connection, which is number 4.
Oh, wow.
And then, just contact with nature. We use a lot of herbs in our service. We do like a firming herbal paste, so it helps with the skin tightening and all of those things.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need you by my side whenever the time comes, but you're gonna stay by my side right now because we're gonna have you come back on our next segment. You guys, we have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back. All right, we're back with Princess and BelliBind. We're talking about some of the services that you provide, and you're talking about this wrap, right? What is the wrap? It can be customized, but what is it for? What's its purpose?
Well, BelliBind and belly binding, traditional belly binding, is from Indonesia. It's a traditional postpartum garment that a lot of the Malaysian women and Malaysian royalty were using for their postpartum care. It's like a staple for the new moms. Yeah, so it made its way to the States, and I am the first and only Black-owned belly binding agency. And so we're making history, people.
Yes, we are.
And
That's amazing.
It's really all about supporting the womb space, bringing that yin and yang. So the belly binding helps with warmth, helps with posture support, helps with gentle compression is the key, because in the first 6 weeks, you're not wanting that intense like corset
So they don't want, I've heard like a waist trainer helps after for the
diastasis.
Yes.
Or what I call it, DRA.
Where your abdominal muscles open up.
Yeah.
They heard that having a waist trainer actually helps bring it back together.
So there's a time and place for waist trainers. I'm a fan of them, but the first 6 weeks postpartum, that immediate postpartum period, is not it.
Okay.
You're already so uncomfortable after giving birth, and God knows how long you were laboring for.
Well, Cardi B was like, I wore my waist trainer right away, but...
you put yourself through discomfort for the societal standard of snapping back.
True.
But you deserve so much better than being uncomfortable when you're already in so much pain and discomfort. So with the wrap, it's a long piece of fabric that we bring to your home. Our practitioners come and custom fit you. So it's the equivalent of like having just jeans off the shelf, or like custom tailored, like, ooh, these are snug, I feel snatched,
Yes.
And any tips for like a healthy pregnancy though? Do you guys help with that as far as like nutrition, or is it just really exterior and like body?
Our focus is postpartum, and there's so many wonderful like birth doulas out there that help with nutrition. Our focus is making sure you feel nourished in the postpartum. So how we do that is, in our service, we also make sure that moms are getting a gentle core strengthening routine that we incorporate prior to 6 weeks. It's pelvic floor physical therapist approved. So you're not going to be doing too much. And a lot of moms who seek us out are health body conscious. So they do want to do something, but they are like waiting till the 6 weeks and they can start running again. And we're like, no, actually, you can do these gentle exercises.
Kegel exercises, right? Is what they call them.
It's beyond the Kegels, actually. We do like head lifts and chin lifts and leg slides. So it's variations of more exerting exercises, but just in a gentle way. Yep, and we do assess for DRA, so if moms have it, we're like, okay, that's something you need to discuss with your doctor at the 6 week visit.
At the 6 week visit, okay.
Do you feel like enough women out there know about postpartum and all of the things that are happening to them? And if not, like, how does BelliBind help in that way?
Yeah, I would say absolutely not. They are not prepared. I hear it too many times, like, I had no idea, or I didn't know this was going to be like that.
Why do you think that? Like, it's just not enough people talking about it?
Well, they need to watch Pregnant in America is a documentary, and it's just one of many. I think it talks a lot about how just it's the system, and it's not really for the woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and there's a postpartum renaissance happening. It is happening, and more women who are newly pregnant are starting to find out prior to being postpartum that there's this whole other side of it, thankfully, and it's a good thing, because we deserve better, and we deserve to know, like, there's this whole other side that we do need to prepare for. And a good friend of mine, Arisa Iona from Divine Postpartum, she says, you're not a tennis ball. You don't bounce back. Okay? So like we shouldn't have to feel like we need to bounce back, even though BelliBind helps you in the physical recovery. There's so much emotional, spiritual elements that we need.
It's kind of like the fitness journey. I work with a lot of women, coaching them through fitness and health, and it's just you have to trust the process and be kind to yourself. I know some women just want to bounce, like you said, right back, but it's if your body takes 9 months to gain the weight, wait at least 9 months plus to get your body back to at least a stable place, right?
Absolutely. It's a transformation. And there is no going back at the end of the day. Like, you're forever changed. I like to say postpartum for life. Okay? So you're forever changed, and it's so important whether you're, you know, a housewife with 3 kids or like many of our clients, celebrities, or otherwise, wherever you fall, like women of all ages, stages deserve postpartum care.
It's an amazing message. I'm so glad that you are working behind this to just bring that care to all of the women out there. Thank you so much for joining us. I feel like I learned a lot.
I know, especially because we lack a lot of information out there, for sure.
We do.
Yeah,
all right, guys, we're going to be right back here with Get It Girl. She is a total boss babe, owner of her own PR firm, a writer and mom of 1, but soon to be 2, who has inspired a lot of women in the journey of motherhood. You guys, please welcome Laura Gimbert.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hello, and your little baby bump. Oh my gosh. It's like you always want to touch baby bumps, right?
Yeah. Is that weird when people just reach for your stomach and touch
I mean,
you?
if it's a random person, but you know, like.
Well, we have 4 people on the couch today,
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah. A boy is joining us.
And you have a girl. And tell us about your natural birth.
Well, it was amazing. Honestly,
I've never heard that.
I know. Well, this is the thing, you know, all my life I always thought, you know, if I have a baby, I go to the hospital and I go through the regular process, which is, you know, getting an epidural and staying there for 2 days. And once I got pregnant, I obviously started doing my research because that's what I do. I love to research whatever I'm going through. And I discovered this other world. And, you know, society just makes us feel so scared and anxious about this experience when we're empowered to it and we're all capable of it. You know, we're made and designed this way. So I went the other route. I actually didn't even go to the hospital. And I had a natural birth and I had a great experience.
I feel like Hollywood does that though, right? Hollywood movies, they make pregnancy this awful thing. And speaking of Hollywood though, you are also have a PR firm that works very closely to Hollywood. How do you balance both of that?
So I work a lot. No, but actually, you know, I had my business for 8 years, so I've been stable for a little bit. It takes a long time, but now that I'm stable and I have a baby too, it's easier to balance because I found my rhythm. I just feel like it's really hard to make a plan. I just go with the flow and figure it out along the way. You know, it's not like I've always like planned to do this way.
And you're working from home, you said?
Yes. So before I used to have an office.
Okay. What has been like the main benefits do you feel about working from home as opposed to?
So many.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to spend time commuting. I am home with my baby. If I need help, you know, my husband can come over or someone else can come over. For the first year, I had absolutely no help. And now that she's 2, she started preschool part-time. But it's all about just figuring it out, you know, like 1 week at a time. Every week is so different with a baby. So I feel like there's always learning to do.
Yeah.
And just balancing things out with, you know, taking it day by day.
How has motherhood changed just the way that you've approached your career? And, you know, like Gia said, you're very involved with Hollywood and this PR firm. How has motherhood changed that? Because this can kind of be like a shallow town, right?
No,
especially
completely.
in PR.
Yes. So before I had a baby, I was working all day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, basically. And then once I had Sophia, I obviously had to find that balance where I couldn't work all day, and I had to include other activities where it was going out for lunch or, you know, being with her, playing, or just going for a walk and taking a break, you know. So I started to really find a balance in my life versus before that I was working and, you know, a little workaholic.
Yeah.
Delegating more as well.
Yeah, no, that's so good. I want to get back to the natural birth, right? But something interesting that you said is you didn't go to a hospital, like, ever.
Yeah.
Was there something in your research where that something turned you away from even wanting to stop by a hospital and seeing what was going on? Like, what was the moment where you're like, I'm doing this all by myself.
Well, the first thing I did was watch The Business of Being Born, which is a documentary.
Oh yeah, I heard that's a good one. Pregnant in America is also
That
a
one
really
too,
good one.
yeah. But The Business of Being Born, it talks about the business of birth, and where obviously it's a money-making industry, right?
Yeah.
So once you go into a hospital, of course you have the power to still talk with your doctors and have your own word, and it really depends on where you go and your team and everything. But I feel like they do have a very standard way of doing things, and I just didn't want that being added to the experience, right? So I just wanted to be in full control of my body and what I did. So I went to a birthing center because I wanted to have like a little in between between the home birth and the hospital birth. So the birthing center is all natural, no drugs. There's only a midwife with you and then a nurse as well. And I felt very safe in my own home experience, and it was great. Yeah.
Wow. And so then absolutely 100%, this little boy is coming out naturally, right?
Of course, everything can happen.
Yes.
You know, I understand that there's things that you can't change if the baby is breached or there's, you know, the umbilical cord around the neck. Whatever it is, I am aware that I can end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
But if everything is okay,
Yeah, there's safety things. I mean, people say to be at least 15 minutes from a hospital.
Exactly.
You
and
know,
they can
'cause they're-
transfer you so quickly to, you know, if anything happens. But
Exactly.
also what I like about the birthing center and the midwives is that they completely know how to see if you're a good candidate for a natural birth. So
that's
there's so many things
good.
that you can't really, you
Yeah,
know.
because there's people that their babies have died and they did
Right,
everything natural and
But
they
that's
did it,
why
you know.
the mortality rates are so low in the birthing center, because they know how to detect those risks.
Yeah.
And then they send you
Yes.
to a hospital at the end.
Well,
So.
we could just soak so much knowledge out of you, which is why we're going to have you stay with us. But we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be right back with Laura Gimbert here on Get It Girl. We are back on Get It Girl with Laura Gimbert, and we are going to play the myths and truths of gender predictions. Yes, this should be really interesting. Okay, I'm going to start
especially because
us
moms have
off.
told us so many different myths. This is gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Okay. So, if you're carrying high, that means it's a girl. Myth or truth? Myth.
I mean, I've had 2 pregnancies and I've both carried the exact same way. So
Yeah.
they're a girl and then boy. So
Yeah, they always say girls are a little bit whighter and
I was
boys
the
are up.
same with my girl.
The same?
Exactly.
So that's a myth because I believe that one.
Yeah.
Me too, but then again, I don't know. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
If
Gio.
you have a rapid fetal heart rate, it's a girl. That one I think I would think that's a myth.
Well,
guys, I don't know.
For me, it worked. Sophia was way higher than this one at the same weight. So maybe it's true, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
If your morning sickness is heavier, it's a girl. Yeah, I think that's a myth
It was
too.
way worse this time.
Maybe it's like
Really?
and
So
longer.
that's a
morning
myth.
sickness when your girl becomes a teenager because
Yeah.
she's putting you through hell.
Maybe, we'll see.
Maybe we'll
I'll let
see,
you know
right?
in like 10 years.
Yeah. Why would you have you come back? Okay. If you had sex a day before ovulating, you're having a girl. If it's a day after ovulating, it's a boy. I've never heard this.
I don't know.
I feel like sex at any time will lead to either.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, this one goes back to seeing if both ancient and the Mayan cultures used the calendar to predict baby genders. If both your age and the year you conceived are even, you're having a girl. Same if you're both odd, you're even. If it's even and odd is odd, you're having a boy.
That's way too complicated.
Yeah, that's way too
Yo,
complicated.
the Mayans.
But I've
Come
heard
on.
that is true. People do have sex or they try
Both
to
were
conceive.
wrong for me.
Really?
Yeah, on
So
that
did you
calendar.
guys try?
No,
during-
I didn't try. I just looked after. Just for
I mean, they also
curiosity.
say like the positions, if the girl's on top sometimes, or like they also say positions will predict if you're gonna have a boy or a girl.
I honestly now don't believe anything.
I think
because
we're
I've
just-
had one of each, and it's
yeah,
all
and
so
I think we're
random.
just obsessed with trying
Yeah.
to control that, right?
Yeah, I
Versus
just
just
like
letting
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Mother Nature do it
Did
naturally.
you have a preference of what you wanted your first child to
I mean,
be?
I always wanted a girl and then a
girl.
boy,
Oh,
and it
so it
happened.
happened.
Although once you're pregnant, you think that you just want a healthy baby.
healthy
so,
baby,
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, I got lucky.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. If your skin is glowing and flawless, get ready for a boy. Hey, your skin is glowing
No,
and
it's
flawless.
true. With Sophia, I felt like I was just like so ugly and sucked, you know, my beauty. Really? And this time I feel like normal and good, you know, so I feel like that's changed.
One of my girlfriends is having a girl and her skin is vibrant. I think the
really
pregnancy glow, maybe it varies with women, you think?
I think it really varies, yeah. But for me, it was true.
Oh. Like, so
I'm happy.
Little Sophia was soaking in your
my
beauty too.
The next one's funny. So what color is your pee? If your urine is bright yellow, it's a boy. If your urine is light or dull in color, it's a girl.
I never looked at it.
You just need more water, people. That's it.
Right? Yeah, if it's dark yellow, you need to drink more water.
That's hilarious.
I don't really tend to look at it.
Okay. All right. This one is, if you're having crazy pregnancy dreams, rumor has it that your baby's gender is opposite of the gender that you dream about. Did you ever have dreams about
I
your
actually
gender?
had a dream of each, and they were both correct.
Oh, wow.
So
You did have a dream. What was the dream about? What did you
it
see
was
yourself?
just I saw the baby in the first trimester before I found out what it was, and it was the exact sex that I found out.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Gia, have you ever had dreams about your future babies?
No, not that I
But
remember.
it was once I
because
was pregnant.
Once you're pregnant.
Once you're pregnant,
Okay.
yeah. I think, but even me, like when you have dreams with being in relationships, I've never seen a baby. There's another myth though. I don't know. This one's not on here, but the one with the pendulum. My tias used to do that, and they used to put it. It didn't work, so you tried
I
over
tried
your
everything
belly.
just for fun. Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that you tried in terms of like myth busting with
I
your
just tried
pregnancy?
everything because I was really curious, but
Yeah.
nothing really worked. So
Do you want to know the sex of your baby before?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm, like,
I've
still
had
undecided.
dreams about a boy. Like I feel like whenever I'm pregnant, it's going to be a boy first, but then you never know.
I know,
right?
and I have friends who swore that, and no, they were
Yeah,
wrong.
maybe, I feel like a lot of women feel
Yeah.
that way. Well, guys, we just myth busted all of these gender pregnancy reveals. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining us. We had a lot of fun with you. How can people find you online?
At PR Boss Babe, and then on Instagram, and then at mombosslife.co.
Love it, love it.
Oh my God. Well, that was it for today. Don't forget to follow us on Get It Girl TV and LA TV Network, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.